Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm sure by looking at me, some of you are probably wondering that what is a 17? Oh, by the way, I'm 17 now. So yeah, what is a 17-year-old boy doing on stage in between such an esteemed lineup with Mrs. Meenakshi and Adit and everyone? And probably some of you are thinking that, ठीक है, he's probably just here to eat Delhi ke chole kulche, listen to Mr. Modi, and of course, meet every teenager's fascination, Ranveer Alabadia. If you're thinking that, you're not totally wrong. But anyways, let me begin by asking you all a simple question. If I were to ask you, what is the key objective of a business, what would you say? We can start from here. Ma'am, what would you say? Okay, yeah, sure. Money, yeah. Are you a Gujarati? Okay. Yeah, same thing. Anyway, someone else would like to answer the question? Okay, and I'll take one more. Yeah, sure. Wonderful. So, everything that you said, including money, are one of the objectives of a business. But the key objective of any business today is survival. So, in fact, there was a recent case study by Peter Frisk, who is a business catalyst and analyst, that discovered that nearly 40% of the businesses that are there today will cease to survive in the next 10 years due to lack of innovation. In fact, they also, took up the case of this company called Kraft Heinz, which is a Fortune 500 company, American multinational company. You probably know them through the ketchup bottles at our house. They lost about 50% of their market share in 2020 due to lack of innovation. The CEO also said that we are too focused on our present while we should be more focused on our future competencies. And this is what makes me believe that, it is going to be innovation that is going to determine the survival of any company in the near future. Well, talking about innovation, what are the first few names that come up to our mind? Probably Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, and who created the MacBook, without which we can't practically survive today. Or probably Thomas Edison, without which we would be sitting in a pitch black room right now. Or probably for the 21st century kids like me, Sam Altman, the creator of ChatGPT, thanks to who I haven't done a single homework by myself in the past 1 month. But anyways, if you were to ask me who my favorite innovator is, I'd say Phineas and Ferb, because I've grown up watching too many cartoons. So I remember this one episode where they had gone on a family trip and they lost a lot of time when they stopped at a burger shop to buy some food. So the brothers, as always, they came up with an innovation, something they called the no-stop truck stop, where they created a burger shop at the back of a moving truck. So cars can come over there, wait till the burger is made, and then go out. So they got their food without wasting any time as well. So I had my Phineas and Ferb moment a few years back when I came back from my uncle's house after staying the night. And I realized that I had forgotten my maths book at his place while my test was coming up. So like any pampered kid, I went to my father and I was like, tell a peon or driver to get my books. And he said that there was no peon or driver available that day. So the only option I had now was to appoint a courier company to go and get my books collected. And this distance that I'm talking is about a 30-kilometer distance. And in Mumbai traffic, that would take you easily about 2 or 2.5 hours. So when I looked for courier companies, I found very few that provide such a service. And even the ones that did, they charged about 250 to 300 rupees. I thought, this is not something that is affordable to everyone. But anyways, I got my books, still failed the test, and I forgot about this. And a few days later, when I was coming back from school, I saw a Dabbawala in my building. Dabbawalas, for you who do not know the Dabbawalas, they ferry lunchboxes in the city of Mumbai. So I realized that, wait, they probably don't deliver parcels in the city of Mumbai, but they most definitely deliver dabbas. So I went up to him and asked him about their monthly pricing. And after I did my math, turns out that they charge only about 40 to 50 rupees for delivery. So that is when I decided to come up with an innovation and bring a solution to this problem by creating an app-based company that provides same-day delivery service at affordable prices, starting at about 1/8 of what the current companies do. And so when I went up with this idea to my to business mentors and to my friends, they were like, "You, a 13-year-old, want to do something that not even multinational companies like DHL or probably Blue Data were able to do? It is impossible." Well, while some might get demotivated at this point, I knew I was onto something big, because it is a rule of life that an innovation is considered to be impossible till it's done. Like when probably Steve Jobs came up with the idea of a MacBook, people thought that this is impossible. Or when the idea of the first search engine came up, people thought Oliver McBrien was a psychopath. But either way, despite the criticism, I decided to move forward. For the next few days, I started visiting the nearby stations at my house in attempt to interact with the dabbawalas and trying to propose this business idea to them. But for almost 2 weeks, the only response I got from them was, "Stop irritating us, man. Can't you see we are busy working here and we're not interested?" Until 2 weeks later, they finally decided to hear me out and gave me the number of their president, Mr. Subhash Talekar. And the first time when I went to meet Mr. Talekar, he shut me down at the first look that he gave me. And he's like, even before he heard my business idea, he said, "Beta, tum abhi padhai pe dhyan do, business ki baat hum baad mein karenge." But thinking on my feet, I asked him if I could just travel with him for a few days and understand how they work and their operations work. I'm sure he thought I wouldn't last more than a day or two, so he let me do the same. So each day we started off doing a double-seater on the cycles, picking up the dabbas from residents, and then getting into the Mumbai local trains, the hard part. So for the ones who do not know how they function, they are as crowded, like you can fit the entire Global Business Summit into one compartment. But anyways, then delivering the dabbas, and I did not do this for 1 or 2, but for 30 days straight. And over here, I interacted with each dabbawala individually, and I asked them if, while you're going back home empty-handed, if I hand over some parcels to you, and you can generate extra income, would you like to do something like this? And the response was usually positive. So I shared this with Mr. Talekar. I think the dedication and commitment that he saw in me over the past month put confidence in him, and they decided to come on board with us. And I thought it was the end of hard times, but of course I was the only stupid one to think so. Then the challenges were like unwelcome guests, algorithm, manpower, training, operations, and plus my school assignments, tests, and schedules. So, at that point, I often felt that, okay, maybe people are right. I'm just an overambitious 13-year-old trying to do something that no one has ever been able to. But I remember that time, my father told me this one very important thing that has stuck with me for a very long time now. He said that life is like a video game. Each level is going to get more difficult than the previous one. And the only thing that is going to matter is the results that you get on the table and not the excuses that you give to the world. But either ways, so finally, Modi ji's ever promised achhe din aa gaye. After months of knocking at the doors of corporates for business, I can't remember chugging how many Red Bulls and coffees to stay up all night to fix the operations and technology, we finally launched Papers and Parcels. And now I started receiving awards like the Global Child Prodigy Award and Indians of the World Award, and I was called to speak at platforms like Forbes and TEDx. And now the same people who said, "Ye impossible hai," started sending me congratulations messages. But thank you. Thank you. So, and of course, it is a rule of life, like any innovation that solves the problem of the people is always in demand. So soon we started getting an overwhelming response from Mumbai. We delivered over 20,000 parcels each day. We started getting, offers for mergers, acquisitions, and franchising as well. And I'm very proud to share with you that I sold my first ever business venture in February 2020 to a multinational company. So finally, there is this one question that people constantly keep asking me. Like, if I were to say one thing that led Papers and Parcels to the success it is today, what would it be? And this, I have it here with me. This is something I called as the "I messed up" card. This is a concept I introduced in my office where we handed this card over to our core team, and we had a rule that if they do not redeem this card in the first, within the 3-month span, there's a small penalty of about 5,000 rupees fine. So the purpose for this card was to ensure that they keep thinking outside the box. They try to innovate, they try to create. And because after all, innovation is not, innovation is a continuous process. Aisa nahi ki, I came up with an idea of a startup today and that's the end. No, it has to keep going on. So with this card, one thing I can assure you is, ideas constantly kept flowing in the company. People kept implementing ideas, discussions were going on, and I think this is something that set us apart from most other companies and led to the success that Papers and Parcels was. So my point being of sharing all of this with you is to emphasize that, emphasize the importance of changing with the world, adapting to the new customer demands through innovation. So, and trust me when I say this, it is just a matter of time before even the biggest companies start to get phased out if they fail to create and innovate. So by all means, if you feel this concept of mine of the I messed up card is something that can spark the spirit of innovation in your firm or business, please go ahead and implement the same. Because remember, innovation is vital. Innovation is inevitable. And most importantly, innovation is the way forward. Thank you so much.